Hey there, dog lover. Are you struggling with your fear reactive dog? Maybe they're acting aggressively or they just won't chill out and, oh gosh, you just want to take them for a walk. Maybe you find yourself with anxiety every time you leave the house with your dog, not knowing if they're going to bark incessantly or lunge. God forbid something happens. And I know that you love your dog too much to give up on them. And deep down, you know it's because they're scared. Well, guess what? I have got a 2-day live training on how to get your dog to calm down. It's called the Calm Down Dog Boot Camp. It's happening September 9th and 10th. And in those 2 days, I'm going to be coaching you on why you're wasting your time with the current training methods that aren't delivering you the results that you want. We're going to explore the one powerful factor that I know no one is talking about, and I know it's the missing piece to transforming your dog's behavior. And finally, we're going to be uncovering the truth about what it takes to actually help your dog to feel safe, secure, and confident without relying on gimmicks, quick fixes, pocketfuls of treats, you name it. This is going to blow your mind. So get signed up right now. It's free. beyondobedience.ca/bootcamp. That's beyondobedience.ca/bootcamp. And I'll see you there. Now, if you are someone who is sitting back wondering, I don't know if my dog is fearful, Tracy. How can I tell? I mean, my dog doesn't seem like he's fearful. He's acting pretty aggressively. Then you are in the right place at the right time, my friend, because that's exactly what we are going to be talking about today on the podcast. Is it fear? 3 ways that you can tell whether or not your dog's reactivity is fear-based or just your dog being a jerk. Let's find out today on the podcast. Let's get into it.
Are you worried that your fearful dog may hurt someone or something else? Do you have to prepare just to take a walk around the block? Hi, I'm Tracy, and I too had that dog. The one that you could only walk at nighttime when no one else was around. And I felt ashamed, and oh gosh, I wish that people could just see the dog that I know and love. I wanted the confidence to be able to walk my dog and not have to worry about who or what was around the corner. And I kept telling myself that if I just keep doing obedience drills and distracting with treats, that things would get better. Until I found the secret. Fear is not something that you can train out of a dog. In this podcast, you will find tips to help build your dog's confidence naturally, communication and understanding to foster that trust, and how to address those fear-based behaviors effectively so that you can enjoy a stress-free life with your dog. So if you're ready, stop chopping those chicken wieners, grab your notebook, and let's get to it.
Hello, and welcome to Beyond Obedience. I am here. It's Tracy. I'm glad that you are here, and thank you for being here. I'm going to say, full disclosure, I am feeling a little under the weather today. You can probably hear it in my voice. Feeling a little under the weather, but I didn't want to miss this opportunity because since opening up the Facebook group for the Calm Down Dog Boot Camp and having answered some questions regarding the boot camp, the number one question that came up was, how do I know if my dog is fear reactive? And I had to smack myself a little bit and go, Tracy, why have you not covered that? I literally was like, haven't I talked about that? I haven't talked about that. I apologize. That is a fantastic question. And so we're going to get into that today. But let's just say, even if you don't know, you should just sign up for the boot camp because it's 2 days of hanging out with me, live training. And we're going to be doing some fun stuff inside the Facebook group. Starting this week, we're going to be doing some live Q&As. If you haven't signed up yet, you haven't missed anything, you can still sign up, beyondobedience.ca/bootcamp. Sign up. Make sure you sign up because for those that can't join live, that's how you get the replay. Okay, if you sign up, then I have your email and I can send you the replay if you miss it. But you should try to come live because we're going to be doing some live Q&A in the group. We've just been introducing ourselves in the group right now so far. Like we're just doing the whole showing pictures of our dogs and stuff like that. So you haven't missed anything yet. You can just still sign up, join the boot camp, share your pictures as you do. And then this week we're going to be doing some live Q&As and talking about some few things that Actually, I might be going over some techniques too. Oh, so many things I want to do. So many things I want to do. But I'm very excited about this September 9th and 10th. So if you haven't already signed up, please do. But let's talk about the number one question. Is it fear? How do I know if it is fear? Fantastic question. So first, to start off, let's just actually talk about what reactivity is. Like, we're going to go right back to the basics here and talk about reactivity, because the definition of reactivity is just simply an overreaction to a stimulus, right? An overreaction to a stimulus, whether that's dogs or people or noises, whatever it is. If your dog overreacts to that, that would be what we would call reactive. And it's a common buzz term now in the dog training world. If you're inside or inundated with dog trainers or dog training, you'll probably hear that term a lot. But it's important to understand it's just an overreaction to a stimulus, and that's it. But it is a symptom. It's not a cause. And so we need to figure out what is the emotion behind that reactivity. What is the emotion behind that overreaction? And it's commonly fear or aggression. Okay. So, and you can have a fearful dog act aggressively. So that's why it gets confusing, right? When you have a fearful dog that's acting aggressively, you're like, I don't know, where's that coming from? Is that fear? Is that aggression? I don't know what's going on. So let's talk about 3 ways that we can start to decipher this and break it down for you. First thing that we're going to start with is actually the dog's history. So if you have raised your dog from a puppy, you need to look back in your puppy's life. What kind of puppy was your puppy? Would you describe your puppy as a exuberant, happy-go-lucky, explorative kind of a pup that, tried new things and, didn't get startled easily and all of that stuff? Or are you like me, and did you pick the fearful puppy that was cowering in the back corner? I'm holding my hand up now. That was me. I do that. I pick the sad puppy in the back all the time. There's no judgment. That's what I do. It's why I like to teach on this sort of stuff, because it's kind of my jam. I'm drawn to those dogs. Drawn to the sad dogs in the back, because I love bringing out and working with them and bringing out the confidence in them. It's just what I love to do. So no judgment. But if that was you and you picked the sad puppy in the back, that was a little bit more timid, that was a little bit more shy, that took a little bit more time, that hid underneath the chair, that was the sad, scared puppy at puppy class that didn't want to do anything and just shook behind you and all of that stuff. If that was your puppy and now you're seeing some reactivity, there's a good chance that it stemmed from fear. Or perhaps you had a puppy that had some sort of a traumatic experience. Now, when I say traumatic, people always think of worst case scenarios, but a traumatic experience to a puppy could be something as simple as the puppy pen fell on them one day. They bumped into it and the pen fell on them and hit them and it startled them. If it happens during a formative time or a fear period perhaps or whatnot, and it's a one-off, and it can actually cause a traumatic experience for the puppy. So we don't get to determine what we think is traumatic or not. The puppy determines that. So now you could have a puppy that's, say, scared of fences or scared of metal hitting the floor or whatever happened. That could be, if that's something that happened, that could shape how your puppy now perceives the world around them, so to speak. Okay, so that could also happen. Understanding these events can help you make some educated guesses on your dog's current behavior. That's the bottom line. Okay, now if you have a rescue dog that you didn't raise and you have a known history, now I talked about this before. If you missed that episode about not telling your rescue dog's sad story, I've talked about this before. Please, if it is a known history, if you know for certain that it happened, and without dwelling on it, right? We're going to know it, but not wallow in it. Understanding their past allows you to understand their triggers based on their factual history. See how I'm really emphasizing that? Because I don't want you to make up trauma for your dog. Okay, please do not do that. Do not make up trauma for their dog. So if you know it, then you can start to go, okay, that kind of explains why my dog is reacting this way. And it helps identify whether or not their reactivity is rooted in fear or something else. Okay. So that's the first thing. We're going to look at your dog's history. Second thing, we're going to consider the context of the trigger. What does that mean? I'll tell you, I wrote these notes when I was feeling much better than I am right now, because the sick brain fog me, it's like, wow, those are really big words. Context of the trigger, Tracy. Where did you come up with that? But basically, right now, sick Tracy is regretting healthy Tracy's note taking on this subject. Let's just go with it. Okay, so when we're talking about context of the reactivity, we need to sort of understand that fear reactivity is where dogs feel the need to avoid a threat or self-preservation. So if the context of the trigger is them trying to protect themselves, right? If they're trying to avoid something, that's fear. In comparison to aggressive, which would be a dog that is responding to a perceived challenge, meaning they're going to take control of it, and they are going to, what's the words I'm looking for? Come on, brain, think. It's usually stemmed around like protecting territory or their possessions or asserting their dominance to say, this is mine. So the difference in the context is I'm trying to save myself versus I'm taking this, or this is mine, or I'm defending this, right? So it's a different context of trigger. I hope that makes sense. All right. And then third and finally, we're going to talk about observing the body language, right? And then the energy and the focus of the behavior. So let's talk about body language first, because there is what I would call the core body language. So I want you to picture in your mind palace. Can't believe I said that. Sidebar. My daughter just said that to me. We were in the car and she's like, yeah, you need to put that into your mind palace. And I was like, what? And she said, your mind palace. And I'm like, what are you talking about? She's like, yeah, that's what they call it. So now you're going to call it that. If you have not had a chance to meet Paisley is my lovely daughter. She is essentially a mini me. She is now part of the Beyond Obedience team. She's going to be working and helping out on the boot camp. So you get a chance to meet her, but she'll want you to put things in your mind palace. So inside your mind palace, I can't even know. I want you to think about the two different images of body language. Okay, so we have the fearful dog, which is going to be, cowered in, sunken in, avoiding eye contact, tail tucked, trying to look small, right? Versus the assertive dog or the confident dog that is going to be standing tall and chest out and head up and direct eye contact and just be like a presence, a menacing presence, right? So picture those two different body language. Those are basic body languages, okay? But now we're going to add the reactivity component to it. So, okay, fear-based reactivity, dogs will often exhibit that same body language, sometimes includes the cowering, lowering posture, tail tucking, ears pinned, all of that stuff. But the behavior tends to be erratic and energetically frantic. Okay, so if you think about taking that body position and then driving that position with anxiety, right? Their need to escape or avoid a situation, their actions will seem like scattered and unpredictable because it's coming from anxious behavior or fear-based behavior. So even though it may be like the dog appears to be moving forward, they're moving forward but then stepping back. They're moving around a lot. They're making a lot of noise. I equate it with I'm being just out and out crazy. And my hope is that my crazy will make you go away. That's a fearful dog. In contrast to that, the assertive dog that is reactive, they're going to have a more targeted, focused behavior. They're likely to stand tall and stiff, right? Still have that same posture that we talked about for an assertive dog. They'll make eye contact. Their actions are deliberate and controlled, and their aim is at neutralizing or eliminating the perceived threat. So you've got on one hand the erratic, fearful behavior that is crazy, and I just need you to go away, versus the other one, which is I will take you down, right? And I will tell you, I think it's maybe twice in my life. Once when I was a vet tech, I think even before I graduated. I think I was just working at a vet clinic before I graduated. And the other time was one time at my kennel where I came across the assertive, aggressive dog. And I'll tell you this right now, when you are in the presence of them, they make the hair on the back of your neck stand up. Like, they will elicit that, like, oh no, you know? I mean, if you don't know, then you're lucky. Whereas the fear reactive dog is just like the lunging and the barking and the crazy antics. That's not based in assertive, controlled aggression. You know what I'm saying? So those are the three different ways that we can kind of tell the difference. So let's go back. First of all, you're going to evaluate the dog's history, right? We can always find out stuff from the history of the dog, how they were when they were puppies or what their story was, if it's true. Keep up with that for your rescue dog, right? Next, we're going to consider the context of the trigger, right? Is the dog reacting by when they're confronted with a new or overwhelming environment or perceived danger, or do they have a desire to take control of that thing? So are they overwhelmed by it or they want to control it, right? Do they want to avoid or escape it or do they want to control it, right? That kind of context. And then the observation of the body language, the energy, and the focus of the behavior. Remembering that the fearful dog is erratic and kind of crazy. I want you to go away. Whereas the aggressive dog is going to be more deliberate, controlled. And the goal is to neutralize or eliminate the threat rather than just to get them to go away. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. I'm not going to lie. I did make notes, but I made notes when I was feeling a lot smarter than I feel right now. little brain foggy right now. But that is a great question. And thank you for everyone who has asked that question. And I'll just say this. If you don't know, if you're like, I'm still not sure, Tracy, join the boot camp anyway, because I'd love to hang out with you. I'd love to hang out with you at that boot camp. So I'm really excited about the boot camp. I might be a little too excited about the boot camp. I'm really excited about the boot camp. In particular, I'm excited to actually get out some things that I don't think are being talked about in the dog world. And I think it's really going to help you turn things around for your dog. If you have a dog that is, fearful, you know what? Even if they're just fearful dogs, but not reactive, still come to the boot camp. They don't have to be reactive. You have a fearful dog. You want to learn how you can turn this thing around, help build confidence naturally with your dog. You need to be in that boot camp. I'm going to say it again, beyondobedience.ca/boot camp. Sign up, join the Facebook group. This week, we're going to be doing some live Q&As. So if you've got questions, I've got answers, and I'll tell you them in our boot camp Facebook group. So I think that's it for today, everybody. As always, get out there today and be the person that your dog thinks you are, because your dog thinks that you're amazing, and so do I. Have a great week, everybody, and I'll talk to you all next week. Bye for now. Oh, And as always, this podcast is meant for entertainment and education purposes only and is not meant to replace hands-on professional training. If you are struggling with your dog, please be sure to reach out to a professional in your area. Okay, I think that's it. Bye for now.